I was fortunate. When I broke into the sports industry, I broke in on the governmental regulatory side. So I was appointed by the Nevada governor in 1997 to be part of the 5-member Nevada State Athletic Commission. Through that, I learned a tremendous amount about health and safety, regulation, rules, also about the contracts, the business contracts. I actually had to arbitrate contracts between fighters and managers and promoters. So really was able to learn the business from the regulatory side. It was after that I was presented the opportunity as an investor in sports, and that's when we bought the UFC in 2001. And I think that the background of understanding the regulatory side of the business was extremely helpful, particularly in combat sports, extremely helpful to me. At the end of the day, trying to develop skills and talents to manage in sports is really not that much different from other industries. You have to really be a student of the industry. You have to understand what the consumer wants at the end of the day. I think at many times sports are already established, so people enter the sports realm, and in sports things tend to continue to be done just because they were done that way for the last 20, 30, 40 years. And there seems to be a hesitancy to kind of step out of the box or think differently and think new. So I was always under the idea that we got to continually make things better. We can't just rest on our laurels. And that's why when I looked at boxing, it was from a critical eye on what can be made better. How can we develop the sport of mixed martial arts to deliver a better product to the consumer? And that was really the basis of how we built our business. Well, I think, I don't know if there's one single achievement that I could point out, but I think just in general, the overall growth that we've been able to accomplish and the infrastructure that we've been able to put in place and see our entity grow from literally 3 people to now having offices, in 5 different international markets and, over 350 employees, and see their personal contribution and their personal growth and opportunity and be part of really making history. I mean, I think to me, that's one of the most exciting things. Yeah, it's great to be, financially successful and we make money and we set a record here and set a record there, but more of it's really what is the impact that we're leaving on society? What is the impact that we're having on the sports industry as a whole? And our hope that is that when it's over, people will look back and say, okay, those were the group of people that actually cemented the history of this sport and put a platform in place that allowed it to be successful. It's not just about leading, but it's also about listening. You have to value everyone's input, which is one of the things that I try to do, is make sure that we're inclusive in the process. Now, ultimately, a decision may be made and everybody has to get on board with that strategic direction, but trying to begin the process with being inclusive. And I think as well, never resting on laurels. I mean, I feel like my job is continuing to push people to the next level and think about not where the company is today or tomorrow, but what do we need to do to achieve our goals in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What changes need to be made? Well, I mean, I think growing up, being such a big boxing fan, I really did look up to what Don King and Bob Arum, being successful promoters, were able to achieve. They paved the way for basically our business model. They paved the way as far as broadening the landscape of fans for combat sports. What I've tried to do is use some of those same techniques, but broaden that and really bring more of a business element to the sport. A long-term view, a long-term strategy, invest in the future of the sport. Whereas I think they set up the kind of original infrastructure and platform, but they were never able to develop a long-sustaining brand or a long-sustaining business. And I think that's where we have, both me and my partner Dana and my brother, have kind of taken it to the next step.